aim to motivate and inspire viewers to enjoy the clothes they wear as an expression of their personality and their beliefs. This is the Slow Wardrobe. Come and have a look. Hello, welcome to the Slow Wardrobe podcast. My name is Linda and I'm your host. This is episode 56. Can't believe it. The numbers are slowly creeping up and then all of a sudden it seems really fast. So, in today's episode, an update on my knitting. If you don't want to hear any details about the West Knits Mystery Knit Along, then scroll ahead to the, or scrub ahead, I always forget what it's called, to the Layercake section of this podcast, which I will detail below. The timestamp on that so that you miss the talk about the West Knits Mystery Knit Along. That's the main section of the knitting part of the podcast today because it's the only thing I've been knitting on for the last 2 weeks. And I then go on to the Layercake section of the podcast where I do a first bit of inspirational changes and outfits to get you to think about how you can transform an everyday Layercake outfit into more of a festive or evening outfit. The number of people who are no longer working from home and who are back in the office is slowly creeping up. So some of you may end up being in a situation where you do have a daytime outfit that has to go into an evening setting. And others are just used to wearing your Layercakes as daytime outfits and are wondering maybe what kind of ideas I can give you to dress up a particular Layercake garment or tweak an outfit that you may already have in your head. So I hope you'll enjoy that. I hope there are some good ideas in there for you. If you want to stay abreast of everything new with regards to Layercake and the Slow Wardrobe in general, then do subscribe to the newsletters. In the weeks in between the podcast publications, I will send out a newsletter. So it's every other week a podcast or a newsletter, depending on which week it is. And that's the best way to stay up to date for new product launches and special activities, and special returning customer offers. So enough about that though. Without further ado, as I like to say, let's get into some knitting talk. Right, so what I've had on the needles and what I've been working on. You may remember if you've watched recent episodes that I'm working on the Marja jumper or sweater by Junko Okamoto in a 4-ply yarn that I'm holding together with a strand of my 3-ply linen. And that really inspired, that's still ongoing, I haven't finished that. I'll show that again next time when I will be working on it again. That really inspired me though, the fact that I liked that fabric so much. When the Stephen West Mystery Knit Along of this year came along, which runs every year in the month of October, I thought actually I quite like the idea of holding one of my soliloquy yarns, the soliloquy yarn that I always use for the West Knits Mystery Knits, and then I just go down 1 or 2 needle sizes. The whole project then shrinks down a little bit to what is for a lot of people a slightly more manageable size in terms of wearing. But I thought, well, actually, if I hold that together with one of my strands of linen, then in terms of weight, I end up with something very similar to a standard 4-ply. And then I can just work on with the regular needle size that is recommended for this pattern, which was size 3.5 millimeter. And then I'll knit it to its normal size. So it's actually what is displayed right next to me on the mannequin. The Mystery Knit Along is called Shawlography. And the first thing that jumps out at you is probably the fact that there's a needle hanging down here because I haven't finished. I'm still working on the border. And the second thing, if you're one of the mystery knit-along knitters, that may jump out to you, is that this border is not looking the way it is supposed to. And there's a story to that. First of all, I just noticed that I actually have the entire project hanging here, wrong way round. And that is really because I wanted to be able to reach this side very easily. So I didn't even look at it, but this is actually the back. And both of the sides are looking very fetching and very attractive. I will spread it out holding the right way out because you're missing out on one of the features, which is a row of little bobbles that is on the outside. Now this of course is not properly blocked yet, and it's also not finished yet, but you get an idea. If I just hold up the side that is partially cast off of the look of the shawl and the different stitches used, then that first section of cast off that you can see if I can drape this so I can show you, have a hand free. This section is the way the border is supposed to look. Now, the other thing that I've done slightly differently is the idea here was, or the standard idea, you could do whatever you wanted really. There was a lot of freedom with this, but the suggestion was that you just follow the 5 colors in sequence and repeat that same sequence throughout. I wasn't too keen on that because I wanted the yellow color to feature less prominently in my border. So I came up with the idea, once I'd reached this point, rather than to go 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5, I've gone 1 2 3 4 5 4 3 2 1 2 3 4 5 4 3 2 1. So as a result, this main color that I'm calling the main color because I'm holding it together with the linen in the same color, so the two blend. This main color is featuring less, as well as the yellow, and I liked that. So I was knitting and then noticed that actually for a shawl that is so abundant in its stitch combinations and color combinations, I was a little bit disappointed with this straight cast off edge. Somehow it needed a little bit more. Then I think Stephen himself posted an idea of a slightly different edge on Instagram that I saw by somebody who clearly had the same idea, because I had only thought, oh, I'm not so keen on that edge, but I hadn't thought any more of it. I was just working on it, and then saw a photograph of somebody who, instead of decreasing while you are knitting a stripe, because you can see this is a diagonal stripe, and you decrease this edge while you're knitting the stripe, instead of doing that, she would not decrease but knit a straight edge, and then in the last 2 rows of a stripe she would decrease all the stitches in one go, so you get a little corner to your stripe. They are not that clear here because I haven't really done anything with them yet apart from trying to stretch them out and flatten them, because one of the other things that I'd noticed was that because I'm using linen, which of course doesn't stretch, then whatever you're holding it with can't stretch comfortably either. So the other thing that I noticed was that the use of the linen and the lack of stretch in my I-cord bind off means that there's not a lot of give in that, well, there's no give in that I-cord, and that did not make for a very comfortable edging. You can see that there is slightly more fabric here in the garter stitching than there is in the I-cord bind off. not to the point that I thought, oh, this is horrible, I need to take it back out. But a little bit of extra would go a long way, which was given to me by this new corner. But I saw that cast off edge on Instagram when I was at this point already. This far in, I thought, oh, I can't bear the idea of going all the way back and restarting my edge altogether. It's like, you know what? I'm going to keep this straight. Then I'm going to do the middle section with these little bumps. And then at the other end, I'll just finish straight again as well. So I did that. I started to do this and then thought, yeah, it's nice, but it's still not that much of a feature. So I then decided as I was knitting that actually for just the center bit of that cast off border, I want to increase that feature a little bit more. So just for the middle bit, and I've done about half of that now, trying to show you in a way that I can make it kind of visually clear. Bear with me. Oh, actually I can drape it on her, can't I? Oh, let's try this again. Yes, all right. So here I come with my little bumps, my little undulating line. And then what I'm doing is, this is my midpoint of the shawl. So radiating out from the middle. From here, I've increased my bumps, and I'm doing that by increasing the edge and short rowing to make it wider, so that when I then decrease both my extra stitches and the stitches that I'm supposed to decrease anyway, so I take that point back, I have more of a symmetrical point, because I had done this first one where I had increased stitches and then decreased the stitches that I should decrease, plus my extra ones back off. Of course, I've got an asymmetrical point, and I thought actually I also like those points to be symmetrical. So that's how I've solved that issue. So there are short rows to make this wider, and then I've got a more symmetrical point. So I'm just at the midpoint of the shawl now. So I've got 3 or 4 more of those big points. Then I'll go back to the smaller points. And then for the last bit of cast off, I go back to a straight edge. So I've got a straight edge, bit of undulating, and some points in the middle, keeping it all symmetrical, except for the fact that these lines are diagonal rather than straight. And therein lies my last modification. I already know for a fact that when I get to my last corner, I'm going to change that as well. There was an extra bit that we were all knitting, like a little corner, to have a very straight edge here and then a very elegant start of the curve. But if I have understood the instructions correctly, then when I get to the other edge, when my points, my stripes, I mean, of course, are running in the opposite direction. Sorry, I've hooked an extra stitch here that is there. So when I get to this point, of course, my stripes are going to point slant that way. So what I'm missing in the instructions is an extra corner that's going to bring that edge up to a straight line coming from the top edge of the shawl. I hope I'm making sense. If not, watch next time. By then I'll have figured it out. So I don't like the fact that we've got a modification on one side to make that border fit very nicely and straight onto my top edge, and at the other side we don't do that at all. I think it's a missed opportunity, and I'm going to work out a corner to have it sit similarly to the other side. Watch this space. You'll either have a very frustrated me talked about to this to you about this in 2 weeks, or I'll be triumphant, or maybe a combination of both. Meanwhile, I've also put these colors all on the table because I wanted to show you the effect of holding these colors together with the linen yarn that I have done throughout, and how much of an impact that has. I mean, these are by no means primary colors, but I find, I don't know what you think, but I find that when knitting them together with that dark blue, they look much closer to primary colors than they do on their own. Do you know what I mean? They're more primary here now than they are like that. And I think that's the impact of holding together with this color, which I think is an interesting thing to highlight. So enough about my current knitting project. No finished objects to show you, except for a finished object made by a very dear and appreciated customer. Her name is Alison, and she has knitted the Soepeler scarf. It's the very, very, very long one, the one that's looking like this, that I rarely wear in the Layercake section because it'll pull a whole group of colors in the outfit that I'm wearing together. It's a really nice kind of finishing element. The Cottage Garden is the colorway of the shawl that I have here, and I have two other colorways, one called Columbine that I've been selling, but I've never actually seen a finished object in that colorway until Allie sent me a photograph of her finished Soepeler shawl, and here it is. See how it goes from a dark teal at one end to a purple on the other end, with yellows and light colors in the middle. And so it's actually a gradient that consists of 7 different combinations. Of course, they're all made out of my linen 3-ply, so every one of those 7 colors are 3 strands of color, sometimes 3 different strands, sometimes 2 of the same or whatever, so it varies. But the idea is that all strands of all the different combinations are used to slowly go from one to the other colorway. Now, what was really fun in the email that Allie sent was, she said, well, I wasn't actually planning to show this or combine these colors with this shawl because she had sent it to me as part of an outfit, but you know, it looks remarkably good together. And yes, the thing that I want to highlight and the whole idea behind these long gradients is that because they have a number of colors in them, it means that they literally pull those colors together. And that then gives you permission, if you like, to grab any color in that gradient and make outfits together with them. So you might never think of combining that particular purple with that particular yellow or that particular teal, but because the shawl pulls it all together, it'll pull the whole outfit together. I hope that makes sense, but that's the idea behind the big gradients. So thank you so much, Alison, for sending in that photograph so that I could show it here and show you how incredibly effective these long gradients can be. And of course, I can't always knit all my different color ideas and show all the samples. So this was a very, very welcome addition to my photo library of the Soepeler Shawl. So that's it for the knitting section this time. Let's dive into some Layercake with some first looks of thinking about festive outfits, and 2 sneak peeks of fabrics that will come in as festive limited edition garments just in time for Christmas or the holidays in general, depending on what you celebrate, of course. There was no time because Andrew's been all the way up to her neck in making love dresses, so there hasn't been any time yet to make samples of these limited edition holiday outfits. There will be an opportunity for her to do that next week. So in the newsletter of the 12th of November, there will be a proper announcement with photographs of these special holiday limited edition garments. So if you're curious about those, please make sure that you are subscribed. For now, it'll just be a sneak peek and a first talk about layer cake for the holidays. Enjoy. So we're racing ahead to the festive season of 2021. I can't believe that I'm saying this. It's the beginning of November and I decided to do a first video about festive outfits and how to change a standard layer cake into a bit more of a festive outfit at this time of year already, because of course we're thundering to a point where, especially for my overseas layer cake lovers, there won't be any time to get any new layer cakes out to them. I think we're okay until the end of November. I am going to probably start using couriers to North America in the second half of this month, just to be on the safe side and not to allow for any chance of any delays, because the mail services are of course going to be stretched to their maximum capacity, and the pandemic is far from over, despite what all our politicians and other figures in leadership may want to make us believe. I think we're going to see more cases, etc. But all of that aside, the upshot of that is that services will be affected, and I do not want to run any risk of anybody ordering a layer cake specifically for the festive season and not being able to get it. So I will be very clear about last postage dates and about what services I will be using on the website and in the newsletter. So if you want to make sure that you've got those latest dates, please subscribe to the newsletter. There's one every other week. The next one is going to be next week, Friday, obviously on the 12th of November. And then there's only one more after that on the 26th of November. Those are the two November newsletters, and they will be listing all the postage deadlines very clearly. However, back to today, it's going to be relatively short. I'm just going to give you a couple of examples of taking a daytime layer cake and transforming that look into a bit more of a festive or evening look. Bear with me. As per usual, I've tried to plan these outfits, so I'll try and stay on script if you like, but I can't make any promises. I tend to get carried away. Anyway, I'll do my best. The first one here is an outfit with one of the new Ganseys. This is the teal Gansey, which has the mist stripe on the inside. And I'm wearing it here with a pair of layer cake baggies, a dark teal dress in the regular length, and a nice bulky scarf. The idea is that I'm showing you how we can wear this at the moment in the Western Hemisphere, if you like, with temperatures of around 10 degrees Celsius during the day, and even below. I could go on wearing this because, of course, I've got a couple of different layers, and the Gansey gives me a lot of warmth. Add a pair of fingerless gloves to this and you're really set for quite cold weather. Now, what would I do if I would take this outfit through to more of a festive look? It's relatively simple. I would lose a couple of the layers. So before I show you that, I just wanted to highlight the collar that the little mini cowl collar that we've put on the Gansey, and how that is put to very good use with a shawl like this. The whole idea is that you can tuck in a shawl and use that cowl to keep the shawl nice and high up to your neck, and that's showing it here to perfection. So let me show you what this look would transform into for more of an evening sitting. And here we are, the Layercake version of the little black dress. Only of course it isn't black. Wouldn't be me if it wouldn't be against the grain and different. So the same dark teal dress, pair of tights, pair of nice little shoesies. Of course they could be heels that would look even more festive. I'm not really into heels, as you well know. And I've used the same beautiful shawl, but now around my shoulders, kind of keeps warm. I'm wearing the same long sleeve t-shirt, and here we are. Very simple evening look. Of course I could dress this up a little bit more with a piece of jewelry here, but I've left the jewelry out, just showing the bare bones structure of the outfit. And then of course you can embellish that to your own level of preference. But here it is, look number one. Let's go to number two. Look number two, another good daytime one. In this case, of course, I've gone back to the boots. Pair of black palazzos, white shirt, a brick tabard, and the double dart scarf in smoked paprika in the Yuck Blend 2. So here's my daytime look. What can we do in the evening? There we are, just like before. I've lost the boots and put the little shoesies back on. I'm going to start forgetting that, but you're going to get the idea. Just change the shoes for something slightly more elegant. Kept the shirt, kept the trousers, and swapped the tabard for a tail smock. A tail smock in the red cross weave. Adding a little bit of drama to the outfit, still makes it very practical. This can be a daytime look as well, of course, if you like, pair of jeans. But if this is a bit too dramatic for you, then save it for the evening. The other thing I'm adding here is a short duster in black. Make sure that I don't mess up the rest of the outfit, although, as you can see, it's quite easy to put that on. Black duster over the top for a little bit of warmth, and of course you could lose the tail smock and just have the black trousers, the white shirt, and the black duster. Lots of drama there in the color contrast. That of course also goes if you've got one of the shirts in a different color, of course, but with the white you get that nice dramatic look because of the sharp contrasts with the black. And then the short duster, with or without. On to the next daytime look. This next outfit goes the other way. Rather than adding or taking away a layer, I'm actually going to add one at the bottom. So here we have a love dress in the petite size, knee length on me, with a white shirt and then pair of tights. Great office or daytime look, of course. Now what can we do to this? Let's have a look. Lose the shirt, add a skirt. This is the Layercake skirt in black and long, the long large version. Comes in 4 sizes. Regular and long length, and then regular or small and large size in terms of circumference. If you're not familiar with it, I hope you can see this. It's got a pleat that you can fold in and tie down, but you can release the pleat as well, which gives you even more waist circumference. And the pleat just adds a nice interesting way in which the skirt moves, and then worn with little dress like this, and either against some jewelry, or this is the other half of the double dart pattern, the single dart in a nice jewel color. But of course you can just also keep it very plain and very simple and let your hair or your makeup do the talking. Right, more daytime looks. I've got 2 left for you. Another love dress here in Magpie, worn with last year's Westnet's Mystery Lintelong, the Slipstravaganza. I've just shown you this year's one that I'm hoping to finish this weekend, working on it hard. That rest of the outfit, this is a pair of steel palazzos, and it's to pick up the light on the lighter colors of the shawl. And what I want to show you is how big the impact is to just remove the trousers, but also that there's also a thing with colors and contrasts going on that can make an outfit more festive. So I was talking about the contrast between black and white, and that a black and white outfit, those strong contrasts can really jazz up an outfit and make it more striking. But in some cases, less contrast is a way to dress up an outfit. I'll show you what I mean. There, this is a pair of black baggies. Black and Magpie look stunning together because of the lack of contrast. So the black adds and elongates the silhouette of the outfit that I'm wearing, and just that makes it look more dressy. Do you see what I mean? Now, of course, I can then keep the same dramatic shawl and just wear it in a different way, wear it across my shoulders like this. But the fact that this has got more colors in it, and the colors that it does have, make it look less formal and less chic or classy or special event or whatever. So if these would just be black and white, for example, or black and gray, then again that would add to that kind of monochrome palette. This is not to say that this is not a good outfit, not at all. It's a fantastic outfit and a really festive one at that. I'm just trying to explain how in some case more contrast creates more drama and a more festive feel, and sometimes it's less contrast that has the same effect. Okay, one more outfit. The simplest of them all. But just to show you the effectiveness, here is a black long play suit worn with the ochre large size Gansey. And just one quick move could turn this into quite a dressy outfit. I'll do it on camera. Just to show you in between, of course, this by itself can be a great evening outfit as well. I haven't got any tan, but you know, if I would add that thin long sleeve top that I was wearing before, that would work. So keeping it extremely simple is one quick solution. But here is a nice other one, because of course with the charcoal stripe on the inside and then having the yellow just as little accents, I love this idea for an evening outfit. As always, let me know what you think. There's going to be more festive layer cakes in a next episode. Anybody spotted the sneak peeks? More about these in the newsletter. Festive gear coming your way. I hope to see you again soon.